What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. I hope you all have been having a fantastic day. Of course, we had Larry live trading earlier, and that might have been the quickest session. I don't know why. Larry remarked the same thing, but it was a great morning. If you guys are interested in getting in that, and this market is wild, you can go over to TFNN.com. Go ahead and check out Live Trading Fridays. So the next one is going to be the 25th. This is the second and fourth Friday of every month. But of course, you'll be able to come to the one on the, I think we're going to do the 9th in May. How about that? We're almost in May, halfway through April. Of course, we're going to be off next Friday for Good Friday. Let's take a look. Yeah, listen, you know, I have this on my personal terminal. I have a little watch list I'm calling it, it's called Trump Industry. This is now maybe in my opinion kind of like a useless term now, but you know, I'm liking the uranium. I like the rare earth. Now, to be fair, things like USAR and MP have not been doing well today. Cameco Corporation up 6.66% right now. Man, remember, we're looking at this thing as like, yeah, 35 bucks. What a beautiful buy that would be. And then UUU. And listen, I believe that equities are going to come back down. You know, this is probably some short covering. Open interest is up a little bit. So, you know, you do get some buying, but the VIX is still elevated. UUU up 8.84%. And again, so what is the theory behind this? Well, obviously on the long term, these would be long-term holds for sure. Now, you might be able to kind of play this whipsaw kind of pattern with everything. Dan, can you not get the video loaded? I'll see if I can reset it during the break. You know, you might get some whipsawing, so it might be nice in general with equities just to kind of buy when you get these massive tanks, come back up. Because what I'm thinking is most likely going to happen, I still think we probably have a little bit more to go here, but you might end up getting back into kind of like a 2022 pattern. Right? So let's back off here. And again, there's not a lot of volume today anyway. Kind of almost like the selling is off. The buying's not that strong. Even with, I mean, the VIX is still somewhat high. But let's pull this back like this. And if you kind of remember 2022, this isn't a great example because it's the 15-year. We can maybe go to the, you know, you had, I mean, this sell-off is perhaps a little bit more dramatic, right? And this is again on a weekly, but if you take that to a daily, you'll see there's just a lot of up and down patterns. And it's not until about 2023 in April that this market really wakes back up. And that got us to about, what, February, and with that double top there. And then here we are, of course, giving everything back. What are we trading at right now? Back in April of last year. Quite a movement to the downside, obviously, through all this. And to be honest, I still think we probably will see some to go. The liquidity soaking up, the volume soaking up here is definitely interesting. I think this market is kind of tired right now, so that could absolutely bring in some buyers in the near term. You know, there's this big conversation now that the Fed might inject liquidity into the market, right? Basically do a quantitative easing, buy some of the bonds. If it is true to the extent that, you know, everyone's saying it is, that a lot of this is having to do with the hedge funds unwinding their treasury basis trade, I don't think that's, one, that's not a permanent thing. Two, I don't think the Fed would open up their balance sheets to that. You know, then again, if this is because you're looking at, you know, the dollar decreasing as well. I mean, we hit below 100 last night. And while you're still getting the yen appreciating in and of itself, you know, the dollar dropping is exacerbating that drop in the USD to yen. And then with this massive movement into gold that you're seeing, I mean, what I think this is kind of suggesting is that people don't want to be, at least in short term, even like medium term US bonds. I mean, you take a look at, like, it's just a flight away from the US. And you can't, like, totally blame them for that, right? Let me see here. With the demand for the 30-year was pretty cool, which was nice, but that was still a flight to duration. Okay, I mean, you're at 4.86. I mean, no. See, this is like a even, give me a second. Let me get to the 5 days here. I mean, even with the demand that you were seeing with the 30-year at the auction, you're still getting some moderate sell-off, right? I mean, you're at 4.86% right now. You were at nearly 5, I think, last night. And the 10-year, I mean, that continues to kind of increase too, and you're stalling out around that 4.5 area at 4.48. But I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is kind of just people with investors not wanting to trust the U.S. right now. And, you can't necessarily blame that, right? I mean, there's a lot of sovereign risk that's now been added into this. Unfortunately, I think the whole thing with rallying the world against China is not going to work, and we've seen China working with van der Leyen. China just visited Spain, and now they're making research deals. So, this could end up being, a significant shift in just the global financial markets, I mean, this movement to gold is at least, I mean, this is a true flight to safety right now, right? And again, traditionally, you see that flight to safety, especially if there's just an issue in equities. I'm sure the problem in bonds with the unwind is, and then the fear again of, overheated lines with everything going on in Japan. I don't think China's really dumping bonds in that way. They might be, but I could see that being like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that in the near term, and maybe that resolves itself when everything kind of chills out. But at least what you're seeing right now is a flight away from that. I'm not really sure why the equities are pumping like this. Again, it's not like on a ton of volume at all. And you are seeing things like Tesla. I mean, earlier Tesla was getting a lot of attention. NVIDIA was getting a lot of attention. These guys, this is becoming quickly an equity that I think is very interesting beyond, what was interesting about it beforehand. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back.